Imagine the raw courage it takes to stand for justice, even when the world around you crumbles. Today, we delve into the story of a dauntless woman, Bilkis Bano. The year was 2002, a time that would forever be marked by the infamous Gujarat riots. A whirlwind of violence and destruction, these riots formed the backdrop of our story. Amidst the chaos, Bilkis Bano and her family found themselves caught in a brutal attack that would change their lives forever. The assault was merciless, sparing no one. Bilkis herself was a victim of this ruthless violence, but the tragedy did not end there. The aftermath was even more heart-wrenching. She had to endure the unimaginable loss of 14 members of her family, a pain that would pierce the heart of any human being. This marked the beginning of Bilkis Bano's journey towards justice, a journey that would span nearly 2 decades. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Bilkis Bano decided to fight. She chose to seek justice, no matter how long it took. Her journey began on a rough path, but she was determined to walk it. With courage in her heart and truth on her side, she reported the crime to the local police, expecting them to uphold their duty. However, Bilkis soon encountered the harsh reality of a system that often fails those who need it the most. The police, rather than investigating the crime, attempted to brush it under the carpet. They tried to silence her with threats and intimidation, hoping she would back down. But Bilkis was not one to be easily silenced. The cover-up attempt was a blatant show of the power dynamics at play. But Bilkis, fueled by her relentless pursuit for justice, refused to let this deter her. She knew that her fight was not just for herself, but for countless others who had been silenced by the system. And so, she continued to raise her voice louder and stronger. She took her case to the higher authorities, knocking on the doors of the state police and later the Central Bureau of Investigation. With each step, she faced numerous challenges, from bureaucratic delays to apathetic officials. Yet she refused to back down, standing tall in the face of adversity. In her pursuit, Bilkis was not alone. She found allies in human rights activists, lawyers, and the public who rallied behind her, offering support and solidarity. Their collective voices echoed in the corridors of power, demanding justice for Bilkis and all victims of such atrocities. Her story is a testament to her indomitable spirit, her unwavering determination, and her unwearied resilience. It is a story of a woman who, despite the odds, rose from the ashes, undeterred, unbroken, and unstoppable. Her battle was just beginning, and she was ready to fight it, no matter how long it took. Despite the odds stacked against her, Bilkis Bano didn't lose hope. She took her case to the higher authorities. The road to justice was fraught with obstacles, but Bilkis Bano's determination remained unshaken. In the face of adversity, Bilkis Bano stood as a beacon of courage and resilience. The path she chose was not easy. It was a path riddled with threats and intimidation, designed to break her spirit and silence her voice. Yet she remained steadfast, refusing to be cowed by the mounting pressures. The challenges that Bilkis faced were manifold. She was a woman, a minority, and a victim of an unimaginable crime. Her opponents were powerful and influential, and they wielded their clout like a weapon, attempting to silence her at every turn. But Bilkis refused to be silenced. Threats poured in from all directions. Her safety was compromised. Her life was in danger. The fear was palpable, yet Bilkis held on, her resolve unbroken. It was this very fear that led her to make the painful decision to move out of her home state of Gujarat. Leaving behind her roots, her community, and her home, she sought refuge in another state, hoping to find safety and peace. Yet, even as she battled these personal demons, Bilkis was fighting a larger battle for justice. The case was initially handled by the local police, but it soon became apparent that they were not interested in delivering justice. Allegations of tampering with evidence and intimidation of witnesses were rampant, casting a shadow of doubt over the credibility of the proceedings. It was amidst this turmoil that the Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, stepped in. The involvement of the CBI marked a significant turning point in the case. With their entry, the case was taken out of the hands of the local police and placed under the scrutiny of the central agency. The scales seemed to tip ever so slightly in Bilkis's favor. Bilkis Bano's resilience was finally rewarded when the case was handed over to the CBI, marking a significant milestone in her quest for justice. The wheels of justice began to turn, and Bilkis's struggle was finally bearing fruit. In a world where justice often feels like a distant dream, the story of Bilkis Bano stands as a testament to the power of unwavering determination. The trial, a solemn affair, filled with anticipation and apprehension, marked a turning point in Bilkis's journey. The courtroom became a battleground where justice was demanded, and truth, the weapon of choice. The year was 2008, 15 years after the tragic incident, when the Mumbai court delivered its verdict. It was a day of reckoning as the court convicted 11 perpetrators, acknowledging the atrocities inflicted upon Bilkis. The conviction was a beacon of hope, a sign that justice, though delayed, was not entirely elusive. However, the fight was far from over. The verdict was challenged and the case moved to the higher echelons of the Indian judicial system. The High Court was now the arena, and the stakes were higher than ever. Bilkis, undeterred, stood her ground, her resolve stronger than before. The High Court, in its wisdom, upheld the verdict of the lower court. It was a moment of triumph, a victory hard-earned and well-deserved. But the journey didn't stop there. The case was escalated to the Supreme Court, the final bastion of justice in the country. The apex court, recognizing the gravity of the crime and the struggle of Bilkis, reaffirmed the conviction. The verdict was more than just a victory for Bilkis. It was a landmark judgment that sent a strong message to the society that communal violence had no place in a civilized world, and the victims would not be silenced. It was a triumph that echoed beyond the courtroom, resonating with countless others who, like Bilkis, sought justice against insurmountable odds. Bilkis Bano's relentless pursuit for justice had finally paid off, marking a landmark victory for victims of communal violence. Bilkis Bano's fight for justice didn't stop at her personal victory. She became a beacon of hope for others. In the aftermath of her triumphant legal battle, Bilkis Bano was awarded substantial compensation. This was the highest compensation ever granted by the Indian Supreme Court in a criminal case. She received this not just for the unimaginable horrors she had endured, but as a recognition of her relentless struggle for justice, her courage, and her indomitable spirit. But Bilkis Bano, ever the embodiment of grace and resilience, decided to use this compensation not for personal gain, but for a cause larger than herself. She chose to invest in promoting communal harmony and providing support to other survivors of communal violence. She wanted to ensure that no other woman would have to endure the ordeal she had faced, and that those who did would have a network of support and the resources to fight for their rights. The impact of Bilkis Bano's victory was not confined to her person. It reverberated across the country, setting a precedent for similar cases in India. Her triumph served as a beacon of hope for countless others who had been victims of communal violence, giving them the courage to come forward and seek justice. It sent a clear message to perpetrators of such violence that they could not act with impunity. Bilkis Bano's story also had a profound effect on the legal landscape in India. It highlighted the need for more effective measures to protect victims and witnesses, and it underscored the importance of holding perpetrators accountable, regardless of their social or political standing. Her journey from a victim of communal violence to a symbol of resistance and hope has inspired countless others to stand up against injustice. It has also brought attention to the pressing issue of communal violence in India, sparking important conversations and debates. Bilkis Bano's story is one of unparalleled courage and unwavering determination. It serves as a stark reminder that justice, though delayed, is never denied.